Soviets and Soviets of the Red Army, how y'all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, we are staying in the East. We were in the East on Tuesday. We're going to a different map in the East, though. We're on Orsha East today. And Rang, who's duking it out? I'm seeing a little bit of red here.
Left hand side in the blue, we have Col Koenig, 42, playing first friends for a balanced income. Right hand side in red, we have PaladinLepa with 358. Also with a balanced income.
I'm actually kind of excited to see this super early 210. That's not a common call-in. Heck, it's not even a common thing to see on this map. Not a common thing to see in this division. But, you know, seeing a 210 super early, he's unfortunately going to miss a lot of that open kind of deployment. Though it doesn't seem to bother him very much, because he still does have that 45 mil. That's going to be more than capable to engage or probably take out that M8's Greyhound over here.
Yeah, so to get some pretty good hits in. But yeah, that heavy artillery off the bat. I mean, with artillery, bringing it out earlier does give you more value because it can shoot more, obviously, for a long period of time, but for more the ammo cost. But on a map like this, where such a huge part of it is just the central town strip, having a really big artillery gun level that town strip is not a bad idea.
No, equally interesting is up north. We did see a recon plane being brought in by the French. And the 105 is going to start dropping over here on that 50 Mike mortar. There we go. I'm not saying that's a massive earth-shattering cost. They're 20 points. But the loss of utility and what was assumed to be that kind of opening northern breakout, quite intriguing. Quite intriguing that it was worth one of those artillery strikes so early.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a very worthwhile call-in, especially for the northern side, because as we see time and again on Orsha East, if you can fully secure the north, slap in a couple anti-tank guns, you can pretty much hold it for the rest of the match. So you might as well go for the heavy investment early on, especially considering both sides are balanced, to just try to lock that place down so you can focus on more interesting parts of the map.
Well, it's not going to be this south. You look down there, the French have gotten a couple of 1917s. They got a nice little half track. Heck, they have a 37 mil over here, which, you know, not the most killy of anti-tank guns. It only has those nice little iron slugs. But all the same, could cause quite a bit of hassle for anybody trying to aggress the other direction.
Yeah, it's a pretty good defense. And also one of the very nice things about First French, especially compared to the more like traditional American equipped divisions, is you get some of the older, crappier equipment. The 37 mils can be very cost effective. They're not as good, of course, compared to 45s. But just having a cheap anti-tank gun, which you can throw in the flank just to do cheap anti-tank gun stuff, instead of having to go all the way up to 57 mil, is pretty useful.
It absolutely is. I'm sorry I got distracted by the chalks in the northern side over here with their red death's head. I was like, what the heck is that? Oh yeah, it's the commander trait. Which is just basically scary as all get out in the first place. But that early artillery strike did not quite get the suppression you might have been looking for. I think we're going to see a return and repeat performance. Yes, we are. It's going to go a little bit long as of right now. And we see our first Zook taking out a T-26 over here in the meantime.
Yeah, I'm wondering, because with that first strike he cleared it out, it was much clearer, but he wasn't able to really follow through. So with the second run, there's really only 3 units here. The artillery should do a lot of the damage, and yeah, PaladinLepa, he knows what's going on, and he's actually going to be backing off his half-track troops. The 45 mil is just going to have to pray to dear God, or I guess Stalin in this case, to survive.
That is probably a fair thing to be thinking. We are going to see the half-tracks engaging firepower. See which one's more important, the M5, the M2.
Mm-hmm.
And shockingly enough, I think the M5s might... Nope, never mind, it's a Montus. Yeah, forget it. Yeah, that's not going to matter.
He's going to win the Lend-Lease, or... Well, actually, both of them are technically Lend-Lease vehicles now that I think about it.
Yeah, you're probably true on that one.
Yeah, it is. And C5 and P39, that's interesting 1-2 combo, yeah, getting some good strafes in. And now the Legions, they desperately need to get up to your area to shut it down, and probably as well. Right, okay, it's got an M3 Stuart, which can deal with the light armor.
Well, the important thing really right now is he's trying to make sure he takes out as much of that light equipment as he can. Like I said, the Stuart's going to be more than enough to do so, but he's also now basically going to take out the 25 Mike is dead. That Dushka is shockingly enough not dead, despite the fact that it's basically a 1940s pickup truck with guns in the back. Or as I like to call it, an Alabama Technical. But that's not to be done here, indeed. 45 mil takes out a half track, and we turn our attention a little bit lower to the other side of the map, as it's starting to heat up a little bit in that kind of center-south position, because the Soviets do not seem to take lightly that kind of southern-held position by the French.
Yeah, we got some Strelkovy DPs trying to mosey their way up, and we got a little bit of light fire support backing them up, but this is the French in the forest. The first French. They have some ridiculously good CQC troops, as we see time and again, and so if they can just force these engagements into CQC, they are going to win quite easily.
Absolutely. Now, the off-map is on-map one more time, and I don't know, I get the feeling he may not make it out of here with his life, considering how much firepower he's taking from the 25 mils, the Dushkas.
Yeah, it's a bit of Daka.
Yeah, just a bit. Pilot killed. Yeah, that'll do it. So not getting that third barrage off, and his more efficacious firepower, if in the air anyway, requires to pull in a Hellcat or Spitfire. He's got one of them already, but I don't know how long-term that might be here.
Yeah. You're also seeing also the Legionnaires making a push in the central part of the map, in the southern part of the hill. And yeah, if CQC, I mean, we've seen before the group Zakisti can be quite deadly, but at the same time, Legionnaires are fanatical.
Exactly. The Legion does not surrender, it merely dies, or something like that, isn't it? I forget what the whole thing is. There is some combat that someone in the combat's going to yell at me about, where it's, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I understand.
I appreciate that. Thank you. In the meantime, kind of curious that Col Koenig has not started setting up his artillery park just yet. So I kind of feel like if there's one thing that does need to happen here, is that the Foreign Legion does need to get some long-range firepower set up. And with the 105 down, you really have to be bringing those 81 millimeters.
Yeah, he does have the 81. It's only going to be till C phase where he can get something of those long-term guns, which would probably be pretty important. So PaladinLepa has a good, well, A and B phase here to really get the most out of his big 210 millimeter. So currently it's not firing, and if it's not firing, you're not really getting value out of it.
Yep, that's exactly right. Though with a name like Mercer, I'm actually kind of surprised that I never really noticed the fact that we have a German gun on the map. So I don't know if that's Beute or if that's just a nice little bit of leftover equipment. But I also don't know. Yeah, please.
I think it's Beute.
Yeah, it would not surprise me, but I don't really feel like we've seen too many 210s in German divisions. So certainly not on the actual match itself. IL-2 cluster coming to the southern side. Probably going to take out that BIMP and maybe put some pressure on the partisans as well.
Yeah, the HC cluster, which is honestly a very rare sight, and does a decent amount of damage forcing back the BIMP. P39 getting blapped immediately. Wow.
I wish I could be surprised by that. I truly do. I kind of feel like that was going to happen, 8 times in 15.
IL-2s.
Exactly.
Just don't mess about with him.
Yeah, I mean, if your plane was any good, we'd have a computer game named after your plane too. But it's not, that P-36 Cobra, 1945.
Yeah, it doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Yeah, I guess you kind of do need a 3 one-syllable word. Yeah, I suppose that makes sense.
Oh, big Spitfire and the Hellcat play, trying to clear out these groupers. It's going to be a lot of firepower.
I think one of these probably would have done it, but nope, never mind. He needs both.
And yeah, the bombs hit, and that should be a pretty nice clear out here, allowing Col Koenig to get that area. And honestly, I'm still quite surprised in the central part of the map. It's been pretty quiet. PaladinLepa's managed to get into a good position, but neither side is heavily invested. So I do like those partisans in a rather sneaky spot.
And I kind of wonder if it's that they truly don't know that they're there, or it's kind of more like that unofficial truce of, you don't try to snipe my stuff and I won't kill you. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. How not to be seen.
Exactly.
Up north as well, we're actually seeing a pretty heavy investment from PaladinLepa to take out back. He is not content with letting the north just fall in like that. And to be fair, he has a 210mm artillery gun and it's a rather condensed space. So he can just pound out place the Kingdom Come and then follow on through. He's only going to be able to follow on through with Chernos, which aren't exactly the best CQC infantry, but he does have a lot of light armor.
He does, but that 37mm over here has now claimed at least 3 kills, potentially going to get a 4th over here on this last T26. I didn't appreciate how quick that little pop gun fires.
Yeah, rat-a-tat-tat.
And 4 kills in the meantime. 210 is going to continue to kind of pound the northern part of the Gingerbread Man here. And as he does so, I feel like... I don't know how I feel like. This is curious because, geez, 37mm takes out another squad. IL-2 is going after that 37mm anti-tank gun. He's probably going to kill it with his bomb strikes. If not that, yep, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, I think his northern push is not going to succeed all much here from Lepa. It's just the infantry in that forest is really bloody good, unless he can really get some good hits with the 210s. But for now, he's still kind of just shooting blindly into the trees.
And that's the issue.
Which can work.
Yeah, but it requires a lot of investment and time, and when you're losing tickets, yeah, you still don't want to be losing tickets at any point, but doubly so when you don't know how long it's going to be until things go your way. Looking down to the south, because there's been another kind of push over here. There's an on-map, 76-2, trying to engage from this Soviet side. But we're going to see actually, basically, Legionnaires trying to sneak out to pick on and pick up T-60. That's one. And dives back into the smoke.
Smart play. Reading for the reload, and then he's probably going to pop out.
Jeez.
2. Yeah, there we go. A little bit overkill on a light tank, but those tanks being dead does buy him a lot of time here. And yeah, we're seeing PaladinLepa. He is trying to gain the momentum he needs to because he is down on points. Now he's got a... It's like a central push? He's got his M2A1 half tracks, but... Oh, he kind of seems a little bit all over the place. He's trying to play up north, down south, and in the middle as well. And it's good that he's not tunnel visioning, that's for sure, but he needs a bit more of a concise push in one of these angles if he wants to actually make a breakthrough. Because Col Koenig's lines is pretty beefy.
Well, I guess here's the kind of interesting thing I would like to posit. What if he just tried to sneak some troops right where that ZSU is, or the M2 combat, and sneak up behind those buildings and move northwest across the open ground? You kind of know already that there hasn't been a lot of investment in terms of equipment from Col Koenig, so you might as well put it there for multiple reasons. One, allows you the flexibility to kind of shift to the southwest if you need to, but also allows you to shift against the northern position and get some nice kind of flank shots down on all the equipment that's set up there.
Yeah, that'd honestly be pretty good, because if you can actually clear up the hill from the north and then shut down the road, you can then just starve out the forest. It's a bit tough to do because you got a big bloody open ground, but he's almost pretty close to actually shutting down the central entrance of the hill at least. He just needs a little bit more armored firepower, but he's going to be throwing in more dudes up north, and yeah, Chernos in this sort of fight, this is not really going to succeed. Like, you really need some quality CQC troops if you want to be fighting in this forest, otherwise you're just throwing in meat to the slaughter.
Yeah, and you can see it right now, even down by several men in this combat. Legionnaires coming on in and just doing that lovely amount of firepower with the BARs. Just masticating those poor Chernos.
Rat-a-tat-tat.
Well, here we are.
I mean...
Yes, please.
At least for Lepa, for both sides, it's balanced with C-phase where they're really coming online. There's nothing too crazy in that regard. And it's only a +1. But Col Koenig he's just playing defense. He's not really overextended in the rear. He's not really looking to risk it. he's very happy with his balanced play, just to stick to the +1. And he's building, I mean, look down south, look in the center. Apart from the center, this may be a bit of an issue for Koenig. He has good defenses, and PaladinLepa just doesn't have a good offensive force.
You're absolutely correct. I mean, he already has the biscuit. There's absolutely no reason to risk it. He's got an M4A4 sitting on the reverse slope. Great idea there. And we're actually seeing some of those kind of like shorter support, kind of, there'll be the howitzer, 105 howitzer in the south central part. And now we're seeing those mortars really kind of get going, identifying those anti-air positions, and unfortunately that 125 mil is going to go right into it. Yeah. Yikes.
And these are the Western Allied mortars. And they brought the radio along, not just for the tunes, but also for the corrected shot ability. So that's going to make him extremely deadly if he can spot any of his light stuff.
Well, we haven't seen a battery commander coming out just yet, but, let's give it time. Hopefully we'll see it soon.
He needs to be charged.
Yeah, I see what you did there. That took me a second. Like, again, folks, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been a little bit hard, lack of sleep this week. So it took me half a second to kind of be like, what is, Rang going on about? Yeah. Commander batteries, you need to make sure it's the ever-ready variety. At that point, you don't have to wait for it to charge. You just take it with you, you pack when you play.
Yeah, they always want to be energized.
Exactly. Checking back into that northern, I'm going to put this in air quotes, push. Chernos continue to go right back in, and these Maquisards at this point, even these guys are going to chase him off very, very quickly. Once they see him, of course.
It's kind of like one of those areas where PaladinLepa does have at least the edge of the forest zoned out, because he just has fire in line ready to go. But unless he brings quality infantry, or he off maps the Howler, which he doesn't really have. He doesn't have any off map. Unless he completely blows up that forest, he's not getting in yet. You're not getting CQC of the French and sending in 1 or 2 Chernos here just to do scouting by fire is getting them killed. And the PO2 is a good play, try to get some eyes on where the targets in the forest is. But there's a lot of stuff where, it's a decent amount of points, where you could be using it probably just in the center to try to rupture that area. Because he's close to rupturing it if he can kill that Sherman.
It is very, very true. I mean, that's the only thing that's really kind of keeping him back, isn't it? Is the threat of that Sherman. The M3 is down. I think courtesy is this 3 perhaps that took it out. I was looking away at that particular moment. And actually, there's more anti-air being deployed to the northern side, so don't expect to see any more flyovers anytime soon.
Yeah, Koenig's just slowly getting that nice defense. And down south, we got a lot of anti-air. 3 of the ZSUM-17s being brought on RPG. I think he's going to be using this for fire support, Khan, and I can't rate. I have a hunch.
Well, you know what? If you had a hunch, normally I would tell you to go see a doctor about it, but I think I like the hunch that you got going on with this. 12 M2 Brownings. I'm excited. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm here for this. Unfortunately,
up the hill.
He's not going to do it until his infantry makes contact because he doesn't want to risk it to getting, losing stuff to anti-tank. Maybe. Oh no, he's doing no. This actually is for anti-air. He's waiting. He's trying to draw out the Hellcat rather. And he's going to try to put an intense amount of firepower on it. Between that, there was the 25 mic below it. Yeah, he's trying to draw out the air power down south.
Yeah, and he's trying to make his first happen with Superiors, but once again, he really needs to rate for more concise force to make his play. And the 81 mils are going to be dropping immediately. And those guys are going to be forced to fall back. With the reinforcements, he does have a chance, but at the same time, he doesn't really have anything to soften up or give that much, fire support to his push. Some 76 mils, I'd love to see 210 be dropped in there. Or heck, just bring the T2s and the IL2s. He says he's using that for counter battery play.
The kind of funny thing about this is that he's hitting all across the line, which I think is a great idea from a tactical perspective. Is if your opponent doesn't know what you're aiming at, then he can't really defend against it at all. We're seeing that certainly kind of happening here.
And Seafire coming on in. It's an IL2. We know he's going to make it out. Or is he going to dogfight?
Well, there's a Spitfire behind him too, so.
He's trying to dogfight. Yeah, and yeah, backing out probably the best move. You already have a good anti-aircraft net. Don't get too cocky with the IL-2s. I understand the appeal of doing that, of course. Everyone's played that flight.
That is certainly true. Wing damaged over here. Seafire does not get the kill, though. Northern side, very, very calm, except for the 37 mil who continues. That can't be the same one, but the 37 mils, dirt cheap. And this is kind of what we talked about, I think, over here on this past Tuesday. The idea of just kind of price efficiency. 30 points, yes, you've got to go and engage specifically just tanks, but they are scary enough and quick firing enough that you're going to get a lot of nice little crits or pick up the occasional cheeky kill.
Yeah, and especially against 358, where a lot of our armor options is cheaper light tanks. A cheap light anti-tank gun is all you really need, as we're seeing come to full effect. And he's getting more 50 cal trucks. He really likes these 50 cal trucks.
Kind of makes sense, I would say. It's one of those things that I feel like if I go and put 50 cals everywhere, then first of all, infantry turns into, meat bouillabaisse. And frankly, who doesn't want a little bit of red sauce during the battle? Makes perfect sense to me.
Bit of food.
Absolutely. You got to feed, hot meals for the troops on the front lines every single day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it still is 15-9 and we aren't to sea phase.
Yeah, it's a bit of an issue for him, because losing that extra flag now means, what's it called? The 2+ tick, 7 minutes or so. PaladinLepa needs to make something happen. Especially, he needs to make a +1 happen right now, because a +1 means it's only a 30-minute loss. But if he lets that +2 sit for even just 3 or 4 minutes, it's going to be very hard to get back in.
81 mils start engaging the ZSUs. One's already dead. Imagine the second one's going to soon follow, considering how close those shots are getting here. No. Getting very, very lucky as some of that equipment... Okay, they weren't out of ammunition, but I felt like that for half a moment there. Even more kind of intimidating is the Superior's racing over open ground. And Superior's over here moving up close support of those shocks. This is that close range kind of like bloody firefight that we see in like the movies where guys kind of, stand 20 meters from each other firing from the hip.
Mm-hmm. And no one's like hitting anything. Everyone's just missing.
Exactly.
Especially the main character. Arnold from Commando.
Absolutely. Or Charlie Sheen in Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hollywood tactics, but we're seeing it happen here. And well, the stones on those guys must be big. Now, most of those stones are being used to kind of bury them 6 feet under. So you have to worry. They took the property, but at extreme loss.
Yeah, and PaladinLepa just needs the property right now, and Superiors are probably one of his best bets against the French. It doesn't matter how highly trained or veteran you are, it's kind of hard to dodge a natural charge.
Yes, it is. Interestingly, northern side, we actually see a nice little sprint in from a half-track. Half-track has gotten bombed by TU2. And I think the Stewart was just kind of being called in to hopefully pick off that 152, which... Very, very interesting call here. Not what I expected, but I think a really great idea.
Yeah, this is a really good little, cavalry charge. Hey, I know you keep trying to amass forces on my northern borders. We're just gonna full send it and see what happens. And he's so close to getting the run 52. He might just kill it, which would be a really good kill, killing an artillery piece directly, especially one of that caliber.
Well, you don't find things of that caliber very often any longer, and he does. He does.
Even picking up a flag for a period of time. I mean, that position isn't really tenable.
No, but he's
the harassment.
He's still pulling another 80 points of infantry up towards it, which is a very brave idea.
Mm-hmm.
PTR is going to pick up the Stewart almost for sure, and the T-34 should pick up everything else here in pretty short order. But regardless, that is not what I expect from the French Foreign Legion here.
No, that was a surprising little push, but it's definitely going to solidify him into his match so far. It's really going to put the pressure on Paladin to make something happen in the center, and he is slowly doing that. If he can chill out the far northern flank, bring it back to a trove at least. Heck, maybe him trying to push a little bit in the farm complex down south would be a good call. He just needs to get something to happen.
Yes, that'd be kind of a great opportunity, but I don't know when that's going to happen is the issue. Especially when we have things the kind of central south position of that M10 on the hillside. Lovely position, and really hard to see, especially with a lot of the infantry just gets killed pretty quickly. And the 76-2 is trying to engage him, but that's the thing about the M10. A little easier to get out of the way of the artillery. When said artillery, well, thinks you're a foot kind of anti-tank piece, so.
And also just all the French counterattack, the Legionnaires are going to be able to retake the southern position on the hill. The Superior's just running out of steam, not enough reinforcements to reinforce our position. Just going to put Koenig into a very nice position now. And then far down south, the Sherman getting in close to the T-34, taking advantage of its stabilizers to try to kill that tank if he can penetrate. But, sloped armor, man, it's slopey.
It is slopey, but he still is able to kind of find a way to really just own those slopes. He knows how to shred, man. He knows how to shred. So the French are doing shockingly well here.
Yeah, he's just traded effectively. I mean, in a balance game, it really is just about grabbing a little bit of territory at the start of the match, setting up a big defense, and then just holding, and then just try to force your opponent into these, killing fields, basically, of your defensive lines, and then just ridding the trade outs. And he's been trading very efficiently, it feels like.
Well, even when he hasn't been trading efficiently, like this Sherman, for example, really shouldn't be alive. He even shouldn't be in that position. But he's selling the lives of his troops very, very well. And I don't mean that from trading efficiently. I mean from the fact of, I know that he's going to die, so I'm going to delay you as long as I can, so I can keep this bleed going as long and as hard as I can.
Yeah, definitely a referral trade, because it's going to take PaladinLepa quite a while to even amass another force if he wants to mess around with the northern side. And I don't think he's going to want to mess around the northern side after that attack.
No, probably not. Down south, in the meantime, we've seen the hero Sherman over here putting fire and getting fired at by that 76-2. But with the help of the Spitfire, well, a lot of that equipment does die.
I think we're probably going to see another little Sherman attack down south, because there's not really a whole lot here to stop him. PaladinLepa's kind of running out of steam.
ISU 122.
Never mind, I didn't see that in the group. It was hidden in the group. It's like truck, IS2 truck. It just blends right in.
Exactly. You're like, wait a second, that truck is twice as long as the other ones. It's got a giant nose. TU2 in the meantime drops its ordnance, probably going after the forest. No, going after the BIMP on the full south. That is a interesting call.
The real groupers get in. That is the question. Legionnaires are going to get them out in the open. They really need to drop their smoke if they want to get in close, because then they actually have a fighting chance here, and maybe for their own artillery not to hit them.
It is not going to happen though. Yeah, nope, these guys are doomed.
Smoke.
They're doomed.
That's a bit of a micro misplay.
But you know what? He went to fall back, and that's sometimes as important as being able to know how to attack. So, back onto the hillside, the town position has been taken by the returning Superiors, but I can't think that this is going to last too much longer. I feel like it's just one teensy little attack before everything falls apart. Sort of like taking Hellcats and flying them directly at this ISU. But that should be enough HE to kind of kill this.
Yeah, that's going to be like 2,000 kilograms of bombs almost. But no, it's aluminium, man, I swear.
Yeah, the next time I build something, I probably should make it out of aluminium.
Yeah, just go to, I don't know, a Russian World War II museum and just take a couple of the tanks. You see, I think I'd be fine with that. They're built a lot.
That's true. I'll get the steel from Russia. I'll get the gunpowder from Albania. One of their, many bunkers. Uh, now,
Build it yourself, Soviet tank.
oh,
It's like a
so-
Build-A-Bear workshop.
the Bob Semple tank, but Redux. But across the 30-minute mark here, in the meantime, PaladinLepa has just been taking it in the teeth. 358th, we've been seeing this a little more often here in recent kind of replays. And I don't want to make it sound like they're a bad division, because they're certainly not. But the opponents they've been playing against have been doing an excellent job at countering their strengths.
No, they've pretty much just been power creeped out of the meta. I mean, a lot of these new divisions like First and Fifth Gebirgsjägers from Tuesday's replay just have some really good infantry, and a lot of ST2 really comes down to just having very good, cost-effective infantry. And the Legionnaires, especially in defense in these CQC zones, form admirably because they are fanatical.
We are, by the way, seeing the 155 on the map for the French, trying to find and engage the 152, deciding it's really not worth wasting the munitions on him. Though the 210 feels differently, takes him out in one
Whoa.
shot. Jeez.
Doesn't mess about.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. But even with all that success in the meantime, it's still 14-10. It still has been a very, very costly lesson over here for 358th today.
Mm-hmm. And still, like, the central parts of the map, we haven't seen any pushes from Paladin. He's gotten the original defensive position, but he never pushed out of it, which I think is a big mishap from him. Because with such huge investments up north and down south in Koenig, his center has been pretty open this entire time. And we have seen players where if they push up through the hill of Orsha East and capture the entirety of it, you can just capture all the flags surrounding it, and then you just put some anti-tank guns or ISU 122s in this case, and then you shut everything down.
Right now, by the way, there was a partisan kind of, YOLO. I sent 2 squads forward just to pressure these ISU 122s. Poor guys are all going to go down, but I actually think that's the right call. Because frankly, if I can go and just make you really, really slow moving things forward, I'll lose every single one of my units. That's fine. I gotta have to hold on for a minute. You've got to take everything back in that minute.
Yeah, good luck killing us all.
Yes, even though the Soviets will try to do so, taking out as many of those partisans as they can. M10 in the meantime, math-wise, should be able to kill the ISU. People will be able to see him. He's going to have the 45 mil in a second. Never mind, he's backing away bravely, and PaladinLepa, I think, falls on his sword, which I think is the right call at this point.
Yeah, he pretty much was not going to get out of here. But no, 500 KD difference, which actually a bit better than I was expecting.
Exactly. But here's one of the reasons why. That 210. Talented.
Did pretty decent.
Yes, he did. The IL-2's a lot of pressure. Zis-3 did very well for himself. But shockingly enough, that was not as devastating as it seemed.
No, not really. Then losses, Legionnaires doing good. 37 mil knocking out pretty much a tank platoon. The partisans as well. I believe those are guys behind the lines. Actually killing a couple infantry.
I think you're absolutely correct. And the 37 mil was the one that was on top of, good old Jinji's head there.
Mm-hmm.
Sherman, respectable 4 kills right there. Other Sherman, even more respectable. Not getting a lot of impressive kills, but still valuable ones nonetheless.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Not bad at all. So, a little bit of red on red action over here, or blue on blue, depending on which kind of color you really kind of favor. And at the end of the day, we do see Col Koenig coming out on top. So, if I offer though, sir, any final thoughts from you?
Nope.
Folks, in that case then, until next time, this is Conalwork.
I'm Rangaroo, take it easy.